this place. We've been here since we built this building in 1979, and we sugared in this building in 1980 the first time. So that's like 45 years.
But we had one in the middle of the sugar bush, mud up to here,
Well,
and you couldn't drive underneath a tractor. You couldn't drive to
Back
it. So,
back in the days of buckets, you know, you had to go in a wood
so
with a tractor.
there was a trailer there that was for sale, and we said if we buy it, we would have the right of way of the road. We would have electricity, running water. Yeah.
Smart thinking, right?
So that's when we purchased that to purchase this and
Yeah.
built this. So
Got rid of the junk trailer. And so anyways, we're here. We tap 8,000 maple trees, and we make maple syrup from them. So if you want, we can go into the sugar house. There's syrup boiling right now, and we can talk about that.
okay.
And I can show you where the sap's coming in through the pipeline. That's kind of cute to watch, fun to watch. All right, come on in.
Be very calm because she's due Friday.
Good Friday?
Yeah. So
That would be a
Now
first
it's like-
if there was a baby born here. You'd have to call it a sugar baby. So again, welcome everybody. This is where we boil the sap. So how many of you know anything about maple sugaring? Do you tap trees, make a little maple syrup at home? No? Okay, so the sap that we get from the trees, looks that you do?
In the past.
Okay. So the sap that we get from the trees looks just like water, and it tastes pretty much just like water, with just a very slight hint of a maple sweetness. So it takes normally about 40 gallons of sap to make a gallon of syrup. The sugar content that we had yesterday was down to 1.3, and it computed to what? 77 gallons of sap
66
to
gallons.
make a gallon of syrup.
Yeah.
So we just have to boil and boil and boil, and we use wood for fuel, so we have a hot fire under there, and that heats the sap. And when the sap or when water gets heated, it evaporates. So that's why that steam is going up there. I can open the other door so you can see better. I'm not really boiling that hard right now because when there's a lot of people around, I can't really pay as much attention as I need to. So that's the fire. So we cut the wood in the woods. We cut down dead trees. We do some timber harvesting on the farm. We sell some logs. We keep the tops for firewood. Very careful about the woods because what we leave behind is more important than what we take out. So for the next generation.
which shed was full up to the door.
Yeah, now it's getting close to the door. So I don't think sugar is going to last too much longer. As much as I like to make maple syrup, I also like a nice warm spring sunshine.
Yeah.
So all the sap lines, let me take this, at every tree has one of these. So in the springtime we use a cordless drill to drill a small hole into the tree, only about 1.5 to 2 inches deep. And then we attach the spout to it. So every tree has one of these drop lines, and then there's small lines connecting from tree to tree. And those lines connect onto some bigger lines, which we call main lines. Some of them are 3/4 of an inch, some are about as big as 1.5 inches in diameter. So those lines all flow down the hill to the sugar house here. And the reason there's a drop line on every tree, because every year you have to drill a hole in a different place on the tree. So this year, if I'm tapping here, next year I'll tap on the backside of it, or somewhere. We try to stay at least 6 inches away from an old tap hole.
You have 8,000 trees, you have to do that.
Yep.
Every tree.
Yeah, when the snow is this deep, every year.
And you do that in like what, probably
And-
like
and that's-
February?
Yeah, and that's, we started in January.
Yeah.
So
Snow.
that's only part of it. Once you have the tapping done, you have to keep checking lines. Because we have coyotes that live up there that love to chew on stuff, like puppies like to chew on stuff. Squirrels like to chew on that. I should have brought some of those to get at home, some examples of some of the stuff. Coyotes will chop this all up in little pieces.
And so we know with the pressure here is down,
If the vacuum is down,
then we know there's damage this long.
Yeah, so right now, the guys that have been helping me haven't been here for a couple of days, and I noticed the vacuum's starting to get down, so we need to get up in the woods. When the vacuum is low, we don't get as much yield. So if there's something apart in the woods, sometimes there's not a lot of sap dripping from it, but it's sucking air right there, and it lowers the vacuum everywhere. So I can show you where the sap comes in. It's kind of a tight spot, but you're all pretty short. And then the taller ones can go like this. So I'll go show you where it is, and I'll get out of the way to let everybody get a chance to see the sap coming in. And it's like pretty impressive, because when you think that when we used to use buckets, we had a metal spout and a bucket, and the sap would drip, drip, drip. But when you have 8,000 drip, drip, drips, it becomes a pretty big stream. So let's come over this way. So if you file, just do a single file, and then come back around.